So what's up, guys? All right, I guess I don't know what's up with my phone, but it will only record vertically these days. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do, the vertical time. Okay, so an update. Man, all right, update. I made a video, I think I went live like a week or two ago, and was talking about how I was having like a big shed of my hair. I was shedding a lot of hair. And yeah, so now I'm like right at 3 months and a week since my last hair transplant. 3 months and a week, and my hair is just now finally starting to grow in. There we go. All right. Yes, my hair is just now finally starting to grow in. So pretty exciting. It doesn't look that much better than it did, but I'm starting to see little baby hairs popping up. So yeah, I don't think you'll be able to really see them. Yeah, you can't really see them. See if I focus in on my hairline. Oh, it doesn't even let me do that. Okay. Yeah, you won't really be able to see them, but tiny little baby hairs all over. So, also Dippin' Dots. I was kind of obsessed with Dippin' Dots when I was a kid. But Dippin' Dots, I feel like, I don't know, it's kind of a miss a little bit because it's an ice cream that completely relies on the shape of the ice cream, because the actual dots themselves are not really good ice cream. You literally just eat it because they're little tiny balls of ice cream, and that's kind of exciting for your tongue. It is exciting. It's still exciting for my tongue, even after all these years. But I feel like there should be some competitor to Dippin' Dots, and they should actually make good ice cream in the shape of tiny little balls that satisfy your tongue. Okay, I realize I just said that. Yeah, you know what I mean, for sure. Why do so many people think I'm gay? I'm okay with it. Like, I don't have a problem with that. But I get a comment all the time, like, oh, I thought you were gay. Nope, not gay. I don't have a problem. I love gay people. Lots of gay friends. It's just I would happily be gay if it wasn't for the, you know, sexual interactions with men part. If it wasn't for that, gay seems awesome. They have the best parties. They seem to be, I don't know, they wear cool sparkly clothes. Yeah, I like all the other stuff except for the sexual men stuff. All right, cool. So, man, this isn't very long of an update, but yeah, my hair's growing in, so that's pretty exciting. Let me go ahead and show you my hair. And I've got a few people watching now, so if you guys have any comments or anything on Dippin' Dots or hair transplants or any questions, feel free to ask. I'm just eating some Dippin' Dots here. And oh, how many grafts do you think you have remaining? Ryan said. I think remaining, I have probably, let's say, like a good 2,000 grafts remaining. Yeah, I think pretty easily 2,000 grafts. It just depends on how much I want to deplete my donor area, but without anything being visible. But then again, I already have like FUT scars, so the whole, I'm sure you're gonna see now. So I just literally cut my hair myself with a little buzz cut thing just a few minutes ago. So I haven't seen my hair or anything, but here's the back. I would guess that you can see the FUT scars because I cut it with a half-inch thing. I cut it with like a half-inch buzz clip thing. So that's the back right here. And here's the back here. There's the back right here. I do not know what that means. Thoughts on the horseshoe. I do not know what that means. I have no idea. And then here's the top. So that's where I'm currently at. Right now, I have done the prison photos thing. So we go there. Like I said, I just cut my hair like 20 minutes ago myself with the little little clipper thing. So I used half-inch here, half-inch on the side, and I used an inch on top. And then I went like 3/4 of an inch right there. So I just did it myself, just like half-inch, 3/4 of an inch, 1 inch. And that's the look right there. So I still feel like I'm kind of a little bit of an awkward phase with my hair transplant because it's just now starting to grow in, but it's pretty exciting. Oh wow, is the crown looks like it's making a little progress? Okay, awesome. I can't really see my crown, but yeah, the hairs I'm just now seeing in the front, just like little tiny baby hairs. Why did Jesus punch someone in the street? You would have to ask him. I don't know. If you get a chance to meet Jesus, ask him. Let me know. Does it say why he punched somebody in the street in the Bible? Does it say? If it doesn't say, I guess God didn't want you to know why he punched him. It's a secret better left as a secret. Dude, that's exciting that my crown is making a little progress. Yeah, so here's my crown now. But yeah, I definitely had shock loss coming out of all this. Had a good bit of shock loss, and now I'm just starting to see these little baby hairs growing back now at like 3 months and 1 week in. Yeah, how many of you guys also like Dippin' Dots but wish that the ice cream part was better? I wish the ice cream part was better. Oh, I think he's talking about the Jesus that gave you the low scar. Wow. Dude, I'm so impressed by you, Ryan, and by Dmitriev, I think it is, who talked about Jesus. That's incredible that you know these references that other people are asking me in the chat better than I know them myself as the person that's sort of been through them. That is incredible. Oh, Jesus who gave me my scar. Yeah. Why did he punch the guy in the street? I think they said that he thought that Jesus being that hair transplant doctor, um, I think the newspaper article that I read said that he why did he no, I don't think it said that. I know he was claiming to be the son of God, and what was the other thing? And then saying he was gonna kill the president. I think that's what the article said. So I don't know, maybe he thought that guy was gonna kill the president before he was going to, and then he punched him on the street. I don't know. I do my best to forget about that guy. Mr. Gave me my scar guy. Any more questions, guys? Well, I enjoy my Dippin' Dots. Hmm. Those are just like on sale at the grocery store, so I got them. Mm. Oh, Dimitri said, I couldn't believe when I read the article. He was so nice in his videos. He looked so professional. I know. Crazy, right? You know, that's the thing. That's why I'm so careful about like recommending doctors, is because unless you know somebody very well personally, you don't really know them. Even people that you know very well personally, you don't really know them. You know what I mean? Like how many people get married to somebody, live with them for 10 years, and then find out they have this whole entire separate life that person didn't even know existed. So this is someone you're married to, you've probably dated for years, you live with them, all this stuff, and you don't even know really what they're like. You know what I mean? Like humans are so good at hiding stuff from other people. So that's why I'm careful with like things like surgery and recommending surgeons and things like that, because you just don't know. What's gonna happen? Do you think Dr. McGrath will start punching people on the street in Austin tomorrow? LOL. I do not think so. My guess is no. With Dr. McGrath, as much as you don't know anybody, you know what I mean? Um, I've known him for now, I think about 6 years, and I've stayed at his house like countless times. I've spent tons of time with him. I've now had 2 surgeries done by him. I've watched hundreds of people or met hundreds of people who have had surgery done by him. I've watched him do surgery and many other people. So like with him, I feel pretty confident. As confident as I'll ever feel in a surgeon as a person. You know what I mean? Going through things and stuff. And um I've seen him go through like difficult things in his life personally as well. Things like he got divorced while I've known him, and that was a big thing. And so like I've seen him go through difficult personal things. That's why I can feel pretty confident, in him as a person. Oh yeah, I'm finally getting some more questions. Jose, What happens if I was on dutasteride and finasteride for 9 months, then stopped for 6 weeks because of a surgery on everything, and now just resumed on finasteride? I don't know why you'd want to be on dutasteride and finasteride at the same time. That seems like doubling up a little bit too much on things. Yeah. But no, if you stopped for surgery for 6 weeks, just get back on it. It shouldn't really, like, 6 weeks is a little bit long, but like it shouldn't it should be fine. I think you should be able to get back in to pretty much where you were at and not have any kind of negative effect on your hair, really. Mm. I I personally stopped using finasteride for like when all the Dippin' Dots are done. I stopped using finasteride for like 3 years, I think it was about 3 years. So that was a long time, and I did have some extra loss and stuff like that. I think that I wasn't able to get back because of that. But 6 months, I don't think it's gonna make that big of a difference. All right, more questions. Mordecai says, "Hey, buddy, looking good. Thank you so much, Mordecai." Steven says, "Hey, David, what is your top 3 hair maintenance regimens? Thanks from Australia." All right. What's up, Australia? So, Steven, top 3. Yeah, so hair maintenance regimens, I would say number 1 is finasteride. Number 2 is oral minoxidil. Those are things that I do. And number 3 would be a laser helmet. I think those are really the only 3 things. I know people talk about like a Nizoral shampoo or doing microneedling, maybe microneedling, but I don't know. I find it hard to be consistent with that. Yeah, I think most people do. So for me personally, those are my 3 things that I do because it's easy to do them. I literally pop one pill that has my finasteride and minoxidil in it. So it's just every night I brush my teeth and I pop that little pill. And then every other day I grab my laser helmet that's sitting right behind there and I stick it on my head. And that's what I do. So Mr. Moss says, use finasteride when, yes, how long? Um, I've never considered upgrading to dutasteride or RU58841. I haven't, no. Um, yeah, I like the stuff that I've seen says dutasteride has a lot more potential side effects. So I thought about doing like a topical dutasteride type thing. I know that Dr. Patrick Mwamba sells a topical dutasteride that one of my friends is on and uses. So if I had negative side effects from finasteride, I'd probably look into doing the topical dutasteride from him. So if you do, I think that's probably something that you should look into. But for me, I feel like what I'm doing seems to be working pretty well now. So I haven't really thought about switching those things up. Samir says, I have a question. Okay, cool. Ask it. John says, that Jesus guy charged so much for his work too. Crazy in his videos, he would show off how his scar was so good and that FUE was not needed because of it. LOL. Did you get a refund? No. So, John, I asked for a refund after that surgeon who claimed that he was Jesus and punched the dude and got committed to a mental institution went crazy and all that and left me with that big scar. So you can see here, I'll show you. I don't let me know if you guys can see, because like I said, I just shaved my head or like cut my hair, like 30 minutes ago. I just did it all myself, so I couldn't really see what I was doing. But I used a half guard, 3/4 right here, and then one inch. So half inch, 3/4, 1 inch. And I think that I think you can see the scar. This is the scar from that surgeon. I think you can see it there. It's like right there, right here on this side. That's the scar. I think you can probably see it. Let me know, guys. But yeah, he went way too low. And I did ask for a refund. I called up his guy who works there, Josh, who does all his consultations, and I said, hey, he should give me a refund. Like, he left me with this huge scar. He was obviously crazy. He was committed to a mental institution like just a couple months after doing my surgery. And so yeah, and he went way too low outside of the safe zone, so that's useless potential hair. It'll be left me with this big scar. Like, I should get at least a partial reimbursement. And Josh said, nope, we're not giving you any reimbursement. So that was that. I guess I could have sued them or something like that, but I don't know. Suing people is a lot of work. I've actually sued a few other people, and it's such a pain in the ass. So unless it's really, really necessary, I don't know. Sometimes it's best to just move on. I'm in the middle of actually a lawsuit right now that's been going on for over a year now. It's a really big one. So yeah, and I have even just thought about like moving on, but I think I'm gonna see it through because I was even way more screwed over with this thing, and it's way more money at stake. All right, so what else? What does Dr. McGrath prescribe when guys still lose ground on finasteride? That's a good question. I do not really know the answer to that. Yeah, I'm not really sure what he prescribed. That's actually a great question. I'm going to talk with him about that. I'll be down there in October because my friend Jay International is having surgery done by Dr. McGrath. You've probably seen Jay International. It's called A Hair Raising Tale. He's got a great YouTube channel. Uh, he's a friend of mine and just very passionate about hair and hair transplants and things. And he's getting his hairline worked on by Dr. McGrath. There's no like he's just paying the full price and everything like that. It's not like do a video in exchange for surgery or anything like that. He's paying full price, but he likes Dr. McGrath's work from what he's seen, and so he wants Dr. McGrath to do his hairline. And so I'm meeting Jay and everybody down there in Austin October 5th. So I will ask him then because that's a really good question. Why did you get multiple transplants? Didn't the first one take? Yeah, I mean, I needed a lot of hair, Patrick, and most guys need multiple hair transplants, especially I was already like Norwood 5 when I was about 22 years old, you know? So then I also got off finasteride for a few years, so I had a little regression on that over the course of those few years. And yeah, very few hair transplant patients who get a hair transplant young and have started balding young will not need at least 2 surgeries. The other thing is that like oral minoxidil, that wasn't available as a thing back at that time. I also think that I didn't do the finasteride thing the right way. I think I should have just bought the more expensive 1 milligram pills of finasteride. Like at that time, I don't even think they had a generic yet of the 1 milligram. The only way to do it was to buy 5 milligrams and then split it up into pieces, which was kind of a pain in the ass and not really accurate and all that sort of thing. So anyway, lots of reasons behind that. Jay's story is incredible, similar to Joe Tillman's. Yeah. Yeah, Jay has a great story. Okay, cool. Amon says, "Hi David, I just wanted you to know you felt being a bald guy in the past. I wanted you to know how you felt being a bald guy in the past. Bald guy. Did you find it difficult looking in the mirror and accepting it on some level?" Hmm. I would have to say yes. Yes, I found it difficult to accept. I mean, I think anyone who gets a hair transplant probably finds it difficult to accept the fact that they are going bald, you know? Because that's the reason you get a hair transplant and you start going down this road is because you're willing to do some semi extreme things to not be a bald guy, you know? So, yeah, I think anyone who gets a hair transplant probably doesn't want to accept that they are a bald guy. You know what I mean? Or that gene is I guess not necessarily accepting that gene exists in their body. Like I know it exists in my body, that gene that makes that happen, but I don't want to settle for that. What I feel like is settle for that, you know? Does that answer your question? Thanks always for your great questions and comments and stuff, Amon. Or Amen, maybe it's Amen. Let me know which one. Um I had a hair I had a hair transplant in late July. Scalp is still pinkish. Does that go away? Yes, it will go away. A lot of that has to do with surgeon, how your scalp looks afterward. So my first couple of hair transplants that was done by the other surgeon, my first 2 hair transplants done by the other guy who went crazy and still does hair transplants. um, my scalp looked super pinkish after those hair transplants. But the last 2 that I've had that Dr. McGrath did, my scalp really doesn't look any different. So let me show you. Like this is, you can see my scalp doesn't look like it looks. It looks basically the exact same. You know, like there's no pinkish. It's a little bit lighter because I've got a tan on my face, but there's really no pinkish, kind of like the surgeries I got the first guy did. My hairline looked very like pink here because of the way that I guess this, surgery had been done. It was just more traumatic to the scalp. But another thing that happened to me because my first hair transplant surgeon wasn't as good is that I don't have that much feeling on the top of my head. He went too deep in the back and cut through the nerves. So I actually have very little feeling here on the top of my head. I can't really feel much. And I talked to Dr. McGrath about it and I was like, do you, because, Dr. McGrath's had a couple of hair transplants, FUT as well. I was like, do you have all your feeling in your head? And he's like, yeah, 100% of my feeling in my head. And he said, if you don't, it's because your surgeon for the first couple of transplants went too deep and he cut through into basically like tissues and nerves that like you shouldn't go into when you extract tissue. But Dr. McGrath said that his patients who he does FUT on, because of the way that he dissects the tissue, they shouldn't lose any feeling at all on the top of their head. So anyway, kind of learned that after the fact. It's not too much of a pain, like living with no feeling in the top of my head. I guess the sort of the nice part is that if I bang my head on something, it doesn't hurt that much. But I mean, I wish that I had all the feeling back in the top of my head. That'd be good. Yeah. So anyway, that's that. Oh, okay. Jose said, I understand, Jose. No, I think just get back and just go on just finasteride. I don't think you should lose more hair. There's only so much sort of extreme that you can go to. So I would say you should be fine. Just get back on finasteride. VMan 14854 says, David, can you share your thoughts on not shaving the hairline for FUT hair transplant? It's the biggest concern for me. Can I still get the best result if I don't shave my native hair? If the surgeon is okay with that, I think you should be fine. So for my third FUT hair transplant and the only FUT hair transplant that Dr. McGrath did on me, that one I did not shave my head. And the video is on YouTube of that, so you can watch that. But the top of my head, I did not shave at all. And Dr. McGrath did the surgery and it turned out really good. So I think if the surgeon is okay with that, with you not shaving your head for an FUT surgery, that should probably be fine. I think for most FUT surgeries that Dr. McGrath does, he does not have the patient shave the top of their head. So that's definitely doable. Eric says, hi, David. And Patrick says, how long after surgery does the hair fully grow out and look normal? About a year it takes for the hair to grow out and look normal. So like I said at the beginning of this video, I'm just now starting to get hair that's growing in. So I'm like at 3 months and 1 week, and I'm just now starting to see little baby hairs popping in. So super exciting. Alexandra B says, what do you think about DHI versus FUE? Do you think it's worth the price? I think that they are just tools that surgeons use. DHI versus FUE. DHI is just a different way of doing basically an FUE transplant. So with the implanter pen and everything like that. So I think that it doesn't really matter that much. Like, I don't think that you're going to get, I think you should just go on, I don't think you should pick your surgeon based on whether they do FUE or DHI. I don't think that's a good idea. I think you should pick your surgeon based off of what their results are, not what their website tells you rhetorically. Like every website of every surgeon that I've ever seen goes into all this detail about something that they use, some, tool that they use and how awesome it is and how it's the best way to do whatever. And like, don't read all the stuff on the website that says all that. It's just kind of ridiculous. It's just not, it's like marketing stuff. It's it's just marketing stuff. You know what I mean? So, I mean, if Hyundai puts all this stuff on their website about how awesome their car is that the reason that you're gonna buy a car from Hyundai versus Honda? If you went to Honda's site and you know, you read it and it didn't seem nearly as exemplary and all of the things that they sort of put on their website about their special thing in the engine and blah blah blah, you would, you just I think buy it more based on the reputation of the cars and more than, rather what they just rhetorically put on their website. Cool. Eric says, how many hair transplants did Steve have? Also, how the hell did he keep so much back in the days when there were no 5RAR inhibitors? He used pretty darn aggressive. He had pretty darn aggressive hair loss. Oh, I cannot think of an evolutionary advantage of being bald on top. No, I cannot, Eric. How many grafts for Norwood 4 diffuse thinner with decent donor quality? I would say it all depends on what you expect to get, where you expect to get, too. But I would say at least 7,500 grafts, at least, to look decent, like to look to where it looks like you have a full head of hair, at least 7,500 minimum. And I would space it out over, for sure, multiple surgeries. So probably over the course of about 3 surgeries, I would try and do between, yeah, maybe closer to 10,000 grafts, So, and somewhere in the 7,500 to 10,000 graft sort of range for Norwood 4 with good donor hair. Jose says, do you know anyone who uses Yucca pill? I don't know anyone personally who uses Yucca pill. Eric says, how many hair transplants does Steve had? I don't know exactly how many hair transplants Steve has had, but he's had a lot of hair transplants, probably in like 10. And yeah, I mean, he's just had a lot of hair transplants, and lost a lot of hair. But yeah, I mean, his donor hair is extremely thin. Like when I mean thin, like it's thinned out, like because he's had so many surgeries. So yeah, I guess that's what you'd have to ask him a little bit more about that. Amen says, thank you. It seemed like a question was with an obvious answer looking at it all, but I was just interested. Cool. All right. Lewis says, on here question, how do you think being a famous musician like yourself affects one's dating life? Do you think it helps or hurts in the dating world? I actually think that it hurts more than helps being a known musician. I think it hurts more than it helps, actually. So if I meet a girl and she doesn't know who I am, music wise, which is most girls outside of the Philippines, I find that if I let them know that like I've got a popular YouTube channel and songs and I'm a musician with blah blah blah, whenever I go into like, even if I just like send them a new song that I just released or something like that, I'm like, hey, it was great going out with you. Here's a song I released. Anytime that I mention um that sort of thing, it pretty much always like seems to not help. I think that there's a thing in girls' minds of like guys having a large following that they think, oh, well, they have access to like lots of girls. You know, girls have this thing, like girls evolutionarily, it kind of makes sense. Girls want to find the guy that's going to take care of them, you know? And I'm just kind of generalizing in a sort of evolutionary biological way. But girls want a guy who's gonna be like with them, who's gonna settle down with them, take care of their babies, all that sort of thing. I think that's like the craving that like a lot of girls have, women have. And so when you show that you are like not the kind of guy who's going to be there in that way for them, that you're going to travel around the world and meet lots of girls and you have access to lots of other girls and these other things, unless they are your fan and they just want to hook up with you because they are your fan, that's different. um, but the girls that I meet and then they find out what I do, that seems to be a bad thing generally, unless we're already like pretty tight. Um, yeah, it seems to be generally a bad thing actually. So I'm very careful. Like girls will ask me, "Oh, like send me like you're a musician, send me like some of your videos and stuff." I like won't send them anything. Yeah, because it never helps me. So yeah, but if it's just like a fan, but even fans that can kind of be bad too, because fans have already built up in their mind who you are and what you are. So yes, there is the like the whole hooking up with a fan thing that can happen, and you know that's cool in its own way, you know. But it also can be a little bit of like a double-edged sword because yeah, they've already built up in their mind like who you are and what you're like, and so when if you're not that, they already have this very it's this certain preconceived notion, you know. So yeah, I don't know. It's a weird thing. It's weird. Dating is weird. Hope that answers your question. Sorry, that was like a long answer. I'm just thinking about stuff myself. Okay, cool. Back to hair stuff. Hey David, is it wise to stop finasteride and oral minoxidil before having a hair transplant? Do surgeons know the difference between native hairs and finasteride and oral minoxidil? Um, so yeah, it asked, do surgeons know the difference between native hairs and finasteride and oral minoxidil grown hairs? Um, well, that's yeah. So that doesn't matter because hairs that finasteride and oral minoxidil grew are your native hairs, and hair transplant surgeons are going to be taking from your donor area, which isn't going to have finasteride and minoxidil grown hairs. It might have finasteride and minoxidil strengthened hairs because you know they're sort of getting that juice from those things. But that's fine. Yeah, you want the oral finasteride and oral minoxidil to strengthen your donor area so the hair is strong. So when you transplant it, it continues growing. Does that make sense, Stephen? Shuja says, have you ever heard of RIZN, topical treatment from the triple hair Canadian biotech company? I have not heard of it. No, I haven't heard of it. Cool. What is your opinion about The Man? I'm not gonna go into any of that stuff because I just don't want to get into like a YouTube thing. But yeah, I hope that his videos are helpful for people, and if they're helpful for you, then super happy about that. Did you find FUE yield was as good as FUT? Well, this is my first real FUE hair transplant, so I can't really say yet, but yeah, it should FUT should be a little bit better. The surgeons that do both of them will pretty much always say that FUT has the better yield of the two. So I'm guessing that FUT is going to have a better yield of the two, you know? Oh, what's up, Jay? Good to see you, man. I'm going to be meeting Jay in person, Jay International, who's got a hair raising tail channel here on YouTube, which is an awesome channel documenting his hair loss and hair growth process. I'm going to be meeting him October 5th in Dr. McGrath's office in Austin. We're going to be documenting some of that stuff and doing some videos together. So you guys stay tuned for that. That's going to be awesome. Make sure you ring the notification bell so you see this stuff when it goes up. All right, cool. I'm going to do just a couple more questions and then head out. I need to play guitar for the day. Love from India. I'm taking oral finasteride and biotin. Can I save my hair to my 50s? Or oral finasteride and biotin. Hopefully, yeah. If you don't have much hair loss now and you're already on finasteride, then I'd say there's a good chance that you'll be able to save most of your hair. Amen says, what drives you to be so open about your hair restoration journey over the last few years? Did you have any trepidation in sharing your story? That's a great question. And originally I had a little trepidation sharing my story but like when I first made the first video about my hair transplant. But I love helping people. Like, I love it. It's one of my favorite things in the world. Like, it gives me so much joy to help people. And it's just something that I do naturally in my life, even outside of YouTube. So, like, for instance, one of my tenants at one of my houses, really cool girl. And she was like a drug addict, addicted to meth and all this stuff. And not when she was in my house, but she had just come from like a meth house when she moved into my house. Or she had like what a meth house being, treatment center. She had just like gotten off meth and come from a treatment center into my house. And she had like some bad friends still that were hanging around. And it was like, but I could tell that she was a really cool person, you know? And yeah, I really helped her get back on her feet. You know, I'm only mentioning this one thing just because it's the first thing that comes to my mind because we were texting earlier today. And I encouraged her to like get a good job and to, the way that she dressed, because she dressed very goth and like had this look that like was not helping her get a job. And I was like, man, I gave her a lot of lessons about things that I thought she should be, could do or change that would help her sort of progress, from where she was coming from in some kind of positive way. And she's doing really well now. And that's just, it's something that I do with people all around me is I try and see their potential and help them reach their potential. Like I really enjoy that. So for me, that's what this is about, this channel. It's not about my hair for me at all. It's about helping people reach their potential. And I think that hair can be helpful in helping a person reach their potential and getting the most, out of life. And it's kind of, yeah. So also like Jay says, it feels very liberating. I'll just read his comment because I agree with it. It feels very liberating not to be shy about having had a hair transplant. I find when people see I am comfortable with it, they become comfortable too, unless they have some strong, unshakable bias. I totally agree with Jay. Yep. I pretty much all first dates that I go on, I tell the girl that I've had a hair transplant, or I almost try to bring it up in some kind of way because I don't know, just get it all out of there. Like pretty much everybody in my life knows I've had a hair transplant. Like I don't hide it from anyone. Yeah, I just don't like hiding things in general, Yeah, it's just too much work. Amen says, you're a big help to people, David. Oh, thank you so much, man. And you have been here for years now. Thanks for answering my questions. Of course. Happy to help, man. Yeah, so cool. Well, I'm going to go ahead and head off because, almost 40 minutes online. But it's been great chatting with you guys, answering your questions. Hopefully this helps in some kind of way. 3 months and 1 week after my hair transplant, just now starting to grow in. I'm getting these tiny little baby hairs, which is awesome. And this is the hair for anyone who's still watching. There you go. And this is what the crowns and everything's looking like now. So, all right. I'll talk to you later. Have a great night, guys.